The lyric opera in Chicago is one of the best. You know, the Metropolitan's considered the best.
Yeah.
And basically, Chicago's basically considered second best. They can get the big names in the Los Angeles Opera and the San Francisco Opera.
Yeah.
But Metropolitan is number one.
Wow.
People, when they sing at the Metropolitan, they don't make a lot of money. They do it to get it on their resume, and they can make more money at another opera house.
Yeah.
Like Vivica Juneau, an opera singer saw here in Milwaukee, she probably got paid more singing here in Milwaukee than she did at the Metropolitan.
But she did it for the look because it's going to get her those
Right.
other gigs, right? Yeah.
They do it. Anybody out there? One of my favorite opera singers, Vivica Juneau. Google her up.
Wow.
She made one of her debuts here in Milwaukee.
This is the girl. I think we can pull her up, right? You got her pulled up. They'll be able to see.
She made her debut here in Milwaukee in the Rossini Opera.
Yeah.
And
never pulled up on the screen. Yeah, there she is.
She was born in Alaska, and like this great mezzo soprano.
Yeah.
And you know, when opera was king at everything, she'd be like a household word, you know. But now when opera is not as well known.
Yeah.
Great person.
What do you think if the Milverine was going to spearhead like the opera genre, like marketing to get them out there? What do you think they need to do to be more prominent so we can
They
get
got to
some more
start
people?
with Rossini opera and everything. You know, Puccini opera is too boring and everything. The one that really started a craze for opera is Gianciano Rossini. Now, all he's known for is the William Tell overture. You know,
Okay.
But that was an overture to one of his operas. He wrote over 30 different operas.
Wow.
And every one of them was popular. There was never anything in the history of music like Rossini.
Do people write new operas or do they just perform old ones?
You can't really compare it. They do write new ones. They don't last. They like maybe one or two performances, and then that's it. They don't compare. The geniuses that wrote those operas there's nobody like that. Like this Andrew Lloyd Webber guy who wrote that Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
That's a total joke.
The Phantom of the Opera?
It's sappy, sentimental garbage.
Wow.
Really?
You're coming for a lot of people are going to be upset
Now,
about
the
that
ones
one.
that made their debut, Michael Crawford, a guy that can't sing at all. If you try to sing opera and everything, you know, he'd be dragged off the stage. Then that Sarah Brightman, just another run-of-the-mill, little tiny voice soprano that can't sing.
Wow.
I'm just telling you straight out, all right? Andrew Lloyd Webber, comparing him to Rossini is like comparing like gold to a handful of dirt.
Wow.
I'm just being truthful with you.
Yeah. I mean, and you've seen it. You've seen and heard enough to know. I don't know
enough. You can't
enough.
believe how exciting Rossini singing is, the coloratura singing.
Yeah.
And there was anything like it. He created a hysteria for opera went on for 20 years. That was continued by Bellini and Donizetti.
Yeah.
And Verdi took opera in a more powerful direction, more brass instruments, more forceful singing.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Rossini with the great coloratura singing, and then Verdi with the more powerful, dramatic, you know. So you got to know when you go to see opera like El Trovatore with Verdi, it takes the four greatest voices in the world. You got to have a lyric and dramatic voice all rolled up into one.
Wow.
So there's four main roles in there. One has a weak voice. The opera isn't pulled off right.
Yeah.
Caruso, you know, the greatest tenor, the guy that was the first tenor to really make a name, he said Trovatore requires the four greatest voices in history just to sing it, you know.
Jesus, man.
So if somebody's a Rossini singer, very seldom ever they can sing Verdi. It's two different kinds of singing.
Yeah. I gotta go to an opera here in Milwaukee. I gotta go to one of these Milwaukee operas.
Another
here
guy, one of my favorite singers was Dmitri Horov-Totsky.
Yeah.
He was born in 1962. You can, Google up Dmitri Horov-Totsky. All you got to do is Google up opera singer Dmitri.
Look him up. Let's hear him. Let's check him out.
The guy was an operatic superstar for over 20 years. When he died in Russia, they had his funeral on state TV.
Wow. And he's from Russia? Opera singer Dominic.
Dmitri.
Sorry, Dmitri.
Dmitri.
Look at he comes up right away.
See? This guy was
swag.
You know what happened? He was born in 1962. He felt sick, and he got a brain tumor, and he died a couple years later. He was only 55 years old when he died.
Wow.
He was a healthy guy. He lifted weights. You can tell by the way he looks.
Yeah.
It was just shocked the whole opera world that he died when he was only 55. That's all he looks.
Dude, yeah.
The guy was an absolute superstar. They consider him the Elvis Presley of opera.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that big time.
You wouldn't believe the voice. Really powerful.
Yeah, he is in good shape, too. Look
Right.
at that.
It amazed everybody that he died when he's only 55.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, look at it. That's
So do you ever try to sing opera at all? Like to
no,
yourself?
because you have to understand. If you're to Horov-Totsky, if he was in his room right now, just going up and down in scale.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about one in maybe 20, 30 million
Yeah.
to sing at that elite level.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I can't play in the NBA, but I still like to go shoot some hoops.
Yeah, right,
Like,
but-
you don't ever sing to yourself, like in the shower, sing some opera or.
No, because the thing, you can't really compete, Most people don't know. They never really heard an operatic voice, I mean, if they heard an operatic, you just can't compete with it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's just like Hurritaski. He would make an average opera singer look bad,
Wow.
because that's the elite. He sings it, the Scala, like Metropolitan, all the big things. You make one mistake in any of those places, people like start throwing things. They start booing you. They turn on
Jesus.
you real fast. They turn on Pavarotti at the end when he was missing notes.
Really? Wow.
It's really, really, when you get to that elite level,
Yeah.
whether it be a violinist, an opera singer, there's a lot of pressure to always perform at that high rate.
Yeah, that reminds me of that movie Whiplash. Have you seen that
Yes.
movie Whiplash? Yeah. That's scary. He threw that cymbal at that kid, dude. That's
Right. You
insane.
could come on like the stage half loaded, like Willie Nelson, and sing, "On the renegade,"
Yeah.
singing that little whiny voice. But you're an opera singer, believe me, they're listening. Sometimes your voice is really exposed. You make one mistake, and they're going to turn on you right away.
Do you sit in the back of the theater waiting for somebody to make a mistake?
No,
here in
no, no. I would
Milwaukee?
never
You got-
be one of those.
You got,
They
yeah,
call
yeah.
those like in Scotland, they call them clacks. Like one singer they don't like, so they're gonna like throw things at them, or
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy, dude. It's the wealth of knowledge that you have about this it's incredible, dude. Honestly, it's like inspiring a little bit it's making me interested in opera, which I wasn't
Okay,
previously.
the best tenor voice, pure tenor voice, I think is Jussi Jorling. He's a Swedish tenor, born in 1911, died in 1960.
She was only like 52 then. He was only like 50 something
Yeah,
as well.
he's a heavy drinker. But the thing is, the guy never lost an arm wrestle in his life. Everybody hears these opera singers, they think these fairies and everything.
Yeah.
But Jorling was physically strong. He never lost an arm wrestle in his life.
These dudes are jacked, bro.
Yeah.
They're
You can just say opera singer Jussi. His first name is spelled Jussi.
yeah.
The greatest tenor in history. They asked Pavarotti what do you think about, Jussi. He said, I can't compare myself with him because I'm only human.
Wow.
You wouldn't believe
That's insane. That's
that
high
guy
praise.
had unbelievable breath control. You
Yeah.
just think when he just hit the loudest in his crescendo, his voice would just carry either you can do it or you can't.
Yeah. Okay, let me know if you heard of this. So my mom went to see this one in Chicago I just mentioned. She says, I just saw an opera about boxing. It was The Lyric. It was an opera about Emil Griffith.
Okay.
Do you know who that
I
is?
remember
Is that-
Griffith, yeah.
Okay. I don't
Okay,
know anything
what
about
happened
this.
with Griffith was he fought this guy. He couldn't stand him. The guy he fought died afterwards.
Whoa.
Right. I think the guy he killed was Benny Paret. I mean, it was a boxing match. It wasn't like
Oh.
he killed him out in the street.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So it's okay.
Right.
Wow. That's still crazy though to live with that.
Right.
You get killed somebody in the ring.
That was at the Lyric Opera in Chicago.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay, the Lyric, that's a big name. Usually they don't do that. They usually do like the straight repertoire, like Rossini, Verdi, Puccini, and all that. Just let me tell you about Puccini. I never liked Puccini at all.
No.
Okay, most people don't know a Puccini opera and a Rossini opera, 100% the opposite,
Okay.
Basically, Puccini is liked by women, basically. Men don't like it. It's kind of like on the sappy, sentimental side.
Mm.
Rossini's more explosive and everything.
Mm.
And Verdi, especially Verdi. Puccini was kind of like a guy that walked around with a lot of perfume on. It was kind of like a sappy, sentimental type of guy.
Yeah.
Verdi was like a real strong. If you think of a Verdi opera, think of like Dick Butkus, the football player.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. I can see that.
Verdi's opera, especially Trovatore, it's like the most forceful opera imaginable.
Wow.
It's talking about putting fires out with people's blood,
That's what it's talking about? That's
Yeah.
what wow.
The famous song from there is putting fire out with somebody's blood,
I didn't know that at all.
Right.
That's insane.
They got the famous Anvil chorus.
What is that?
Da, 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 da. If you ever hear the Anvil chorus, believe me.
Probably
Right,
maybe
it's
I
the
do
most
know it.
famous chorus in opera.
Okay, then I probably know it.
Hey,
I
the thing
probably
is,
heard
El
it.
Trovatore was so popular that the Marx Brothers, made a parody of it in their movie The Night at the Opera.
Okay. I haven't seen that, but I've heard
El
of it.
Trovatore was so popular, the Eskimos knew about it. I'm not exaggerating, and all the people right in the heart of Africa knew about it. That's how popular it was.
Wow.
Remember, opera was the thing. That's what was talked about.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned this. I don't know if we talked about this before we went. I think this was before we went live. When we were talking about amplification and
Oh, yeah.
the reason opera isn't necessarily probably as big now is because guys like myself or anybody, like I can just sing into a microphone
right.
and amplify. But before, if you went to a live event to go witness people singing, they had to be able to project
Right.
to a room full of 200 people, 1,000 people,
Yes.
whatever it was.
Right.
And maybe even outside, maybe not even in a room.
Right.
So that's where, people had to have that kind of voice.
Yeah, 1925, they started amplification, and that's what they had, they call electric recordings, and then everybody became a singer after that.
Yeah, even scrubs like me.
Even scrubs like this guy here. I mean,
Yeah,
this guy.
no, it's true.
I'm not trying
No,
to
it's true. It is
criticize
true. It
people
is
and
true, though.
everything, but a lot of people think have big voices. They don't.
Yeah.
Now, just let me tell you about two. Now, Josh Groban, he gets a lot of attention. The guy is a total joke. I'm not trying to be like critical. I'm just saying the guy's got a real small voice. You would never hear this guy before 1925.
Yeah.
It's just a run-of-the-mill voice. I'm just telling you what opera singers would say. They're told to shut up because these guys like Groban are making a lot of money for the record companies.
Yeah.
If Groban ever went on and tried to sing opera, you wouldn't even hear him. That's how small his voice is. He needs amplification. Same thing with this guy, Andre Bocelli. Now, this blind tenor, Andre Bocelli, he sells millions of records. He's going to be performing here in Milwaukee. He might sell out. Some of the seats are like $750 to see this guy.
Wow.
The guy's got a real small, run-of-the-mill voice. There's nothing special about his voice. The New York Times critic says the guy's a total joke as a singer. He's lousy. He sings with no emotion. If anybody thinks this Bocelli's a good singer, you just simply don't know anything about singing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to criticize. The guy's a nice guy. He probably gives money to charity and all that, but he's not a great singer.
Yeah.
Not even close. I'm just telling you
I
the
hope
truth.
he's not watching, man. That would hurt. If I heard that, I would
Right.
hurt.
If you heard him sing like this Meryl Lanza guy, Bocelli sang it.
Yeah.
Bocelli would sound like a little boy, crying about losing his toys. He can't produce that manly, forceful sound that you need for a lot of these operas.
Yeah.
If you're going to come on stage and sing about putting a fire out with somebody's blood, you can't sound like a namby-pamby,
I mean, that sounds sacrificial.
The thing that's so sad, they had this Bocelli actually recording El Trovatore, even he doesn't have the voice for it.
Wow.
There would be like Mickey Mouse guy. It's a guy that sounds like Mickey Mouse, like threatening somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't hurt me,
Yeah. It doesn't
like
work. It's not,
right.
not believable. What you're
Like
saying.
a Verdi baritone's got to be heard over an orchestra, playing full blast with a lot of brass instruments with no amplification.
Yeah.
It eliminates 99.9% of the people.
Yeah.
A Verdi baritone would be like a guy that consistently wins a gold medal at the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. That's unheard of.
Right.
And you said you were talking before we went live. There's very few of them.
Maybe 3 or 4 in the world right now. Every time they say there's going to be another Verdi baritone, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's fair. Does the Milwaukee Orchestra or any of these the Milwaukee Symphony or even the Opera House or whatever, do these people invite you in, man? Like, they got to be you're putting on for them right now.
Oh, yeah, the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, they're okay and everything, but a lot of these symphony orchestras, they just so matter-of-fact about things, And they don't do the right shows. I don't know. Somebody picks out these shows. They're not going to throw flies. Like, well, Gustav Mahler, might be a nice guy or whatever, but his music is about as boring as you can get. I was there when he did a Mahler show, and at the 2,000 seats, there's probably like 400 people there.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I would never do a Mahler. I mean, it's boring as hell. I would do Mozart, Beethoven, Brahms, Tchaikovsky, something that people would actually want to listen to.
Some people that they know it.
Yeah,
they
if
know
I was
those
running
names.
the orchestra, the attendance would be a lot better,
Yeah.
So these characters,
They got to get you out there spinning a sign, maybe.
Oh,
I can see
well, if you interfere and tell them that, they'll probably ban you from going.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll keep it on the hush hush.
There are a
and I
lot
want
of
you to be able
people
to go
like
still.
Jack Parr used to say, the talk show guy, basically the namby-pamby's got control of the entertainment,
Yeah.
And he got criticized for telling the truth. You know who Jack Parr was? He was the guy that hosted the Tonight Show before Carson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's real popular from 57 to 62.
Hey, thanks for watching there, guy. Click right over here if you want to see that episode in its entirety. Or you can click over here and subscribe to the channel. See all the other fun shit we do here. It's really up to you, guy.